We are live. What is going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Everyone that's here, thank you so much. Anybody that's watching us on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Solid win. I liked it, right? Playing best team in the West. Our size is just a problem for them, right? Like, we have beaten them now twice because of that reason. A lot of it has to do with the size. But really liked in general how the Lakers played today, right? You got effort, you got energy, you got defense, you got transition. Rebounding needs to be better. Still, you got to do a better job rebounding the basketball. Finally played Reeves and D'Lo together. That was pretty interesting. But in general, like, look, it's just the consistency, right? I mean, we talk about this all the time. Lakers have a game like this and they look great, right? I want to come on here and I want to be like, man, this is it. We're back. Let's go. Like, I want to so bad. But it's just like, this was a great game. You know, our size is a problem for the Thunder, right? But we played really well. There was some good, there was some bad. Don't get me wrong, as with all games, as with everything. But it's just like, can they keep this up? Can they continue to play this way? You know, I love when they play with this level of energy, when they play with this level of effort, when they are showing the level of consistency, right? Throughout the whole game, not just the first quarter or the second quarter or the fourth quarter, right? I love when basically start to finish they play. But more times than not this season, it hasn't been that way. More times than not, it's like, okay, they'll put a masterclass like today together, balls moving, guys are flowing, you got multiple guys in double figures, right? Like, every time that we see the Lakers play this way, they win. It translates to W's. But can they put it together for 5, 6, 7, 8 games, right? I mean, this game, you had what? You had 2, 4, 6 guys in double figures again, right? And we had what? We had 31 assists. Again, every time Lakers have over 30 assists, they win. It's not a coincidence. Every time the Lakers win a game, it's, hey, we had 6, 7 guys in double figures. We had 32 assists or whatever. Guys were sharing the basketball. Guys were moving the basketball. The ball wasn't sticking. The guys were moving and grooving. Guys were playing their roles, right? They were hustling hard. They were working hard. They were rebounding. They were defending, right? All of those things. We shot great against the best team defensively by percentage. It's just, I love this. And I want to see the Lakers continue to play this way. I want to see the Lakers continue to perform this way. Also, the way LeBron played today is exactly what I've been talking about, right? I've had a lot of questions because I've talked about, like, if you're going to have a point guard, the Lakers trade for DeJounte Murray. That's great, right? But are you going to let DeJounte Murray play point guard? D'Lo got to play point guard today and put on an absolute clinic. The guy put on an absolute masterclass. And you saw LeBron actually playing off ball, right? I've gotten a lot of questions from people that are like, well, how do you want LeBron to play off ball? This game, this was a perfect example, right? You get LeBron in a bunch of action, some pick and roll action. You get him on some off ball cuts. You get him in, some spot ups. Who's stopping LeBron James if you can get him in a downhill position, or you can get him in a post up, or you can get him in whatever, right? Like, this is what I want to see more from LeBron, right? He's not overly dominating the basketball. It's not all just going through him. He was letting D'Lo play point guard. D'Lo was absolutely putting on a clinic, right? And just getting everybody the basketball, right? Guys are getting after it defensively. D'Lo, again, defensively has been good. It blows me away how many people are like, D'Lo is a terrible defender. Have you not been watching D'Lo this season? D'Lo has been very good defensively this year. Very good. He's been making hustle plays. He's been making winning plays. But that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying you just never let LeBron have the ball in his hands. No. But if you have a point guard, let the point guard play point guard, right? There's going to be plenty of time. There were times where D'Lo wasn't in the game, and what happened? LeBron James got to do his little playmaking, got to set guys up, got to get guys involved, right? Instead of him being the primary playmaker, you let your point guard do that. And you let your point guard run the show. And you let LeBron, you put him in different actions. You put him in different sets. And that's what we saw today. I love that. LeBron just getting back, just backdooring people and getting ahead of steam downhill, right? Like there was so many things that were just great in this game that I love that we got to see. Again, not a perfect game. There's definitely things, right? There's definitely things that we need to improve on. Again, offensive rebound, second chance points, stuff like that. But I like this game. This was a much better game. Again, can the Lakers consistently do this? Can the Lakers game in and game out perform and play this way? Because if they do, they're going to win more games than they're going to lose, right? A lot more games than they're going to lose. But that's the problem. We see a game like this, and then the next 3 games, it's like right back to, being lackadaisical with the basketball, just careless turnovers, which this game, they had a bunch of turnovers in this game too. They still needed cut down on the turnovers. They had something like 16, something like that. They had 17 turnovers. They need to chill on the turnovers, right? Turnovers, giving up offensive rebounds, right? There are several things that they need to continue to work on and continue to improve on. But this was just a much better game. Part of it is they're just so much bigger than the Thunder, which is why I don't believe the Thunder are going to win a chip. I just think they're going to run into, the Lakers or the Timberwolves or somebody like that, and they're just going to have trouble containing those teams in the playoffs, or the Nuggets, right? Stuff like that. But I don't know. We will see how it plays out. But anyway, let's jump into the box scores, break some players down and stuff, and then we'll jump into all of your super chats and regular questions and stuff like that. So diving into it again, nice solid game. 6 guys in double figures. I love it. Taurean Prince had a bit of a rough game, but I'm not going to get too much on him because he's been Mr. Consistency for the Lakers for the most part. You're going to have good games. You're going to have bad games. But LeBron, 12 of 20 from the field, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, right? 5 turnovers. He's got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. Again, gotta do better, right? Him and D'Lo, same thing. D'Lo had 5 turnovers. As great as D'Lo played today, got to do a better job. A couple of turnovers were just miscommunication, but got to take care of the basketball. Some of those were just LeBron trying to force the issue. Again, take care of the basketball. But outside of that, great game from him. I don't like that he played almost 39 minutes. He was 5 seconds shy of 39 minutes. That's not great, right? You don't want that. I mean, all of our starters played heavy minutes, right? So we got to kind of figure that out. But I did like that, the rotation for the most part was shortened up. But AD, 9 of 17 from the field, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. But also, Anthony Davis has been just an assist machine this year, man. That dude's like just wheeling and dealing. He had a triple-double the other day. Like, I know he had a bad game offensively, but man, like he's been sharing the basketball. 27 points, going along with LeBron's 25. Reeves, 6-10, 1 of 3 from 3, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Better game from him, 15 points. Even defensively, right? He's still not great defensively, but he did a much better job defensively, staying in front of guys, not getting just blown by every possession. Even when they were trying to target him, he was doing a better job of at least funneling guys, which I can live with. But still, need him to pick up a little more on defense. But still, all around, solid game from him. D'Lo, 5 of 12 from the field. A little rough from 3, 2 of 7 from 3. But 7 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. Again, continues to perform. I mean, he had the steal of the game for the Lakers and just put on a clinic. When you let D'Lo run point guard, good things happen, right? And that's what I've talked about. Whether we keep D'Lo, whether we trade D'Lo, whether we go get DeJounte Murray, whatever ends up happening, you got to let the point guard play point guard, right? Use LeBron the way that they used him today. bunch of off-ball action. He's a mismatch. Nobody can contain him. He's bigger, stronger, faster than everybody. He just bumps the guy out the way. Boom, he's wide open, right? And you have your point guard and D'Lo, who just found him all like every time. Plus him with Anthony Davis and the pick and roll action and all that stuff. I really like what we saw from there. Jared Vanderbilt is really starting to come back into his own. Jared Vanderbilt was looking like old Jared Vanderbilt in this game. I loved what I saw from Jared Vanderbilt. Hopefully he can, as he gets more games, gets more legs under him, that can continue, and he can continue to just improve and get better. You know, I said it'd be about 10 games for him to do that. I think we are around the 10-game point. Because, again, you just got to get your timing down. There's just a lot you got to kind of work through on the defensive side. Obviously, offensively, you know, he's not going to provide much in that department. But just getting out in transition, creating turnovers, helping with second chance points, right? Like, you know, just the deflections, right? Even if he's not able to grab the ball, he still is constantly putting in the effort, putting in the energy, getting after it. You love to see that type of stuff. Rui Hachimura, 5 of 8, 2 of 3 from 3, 3 rebounds, and 12 points. Solid game from him in 20 minutes. It's what you like to see. 20 minutes, giving you 12 points. Can't ask for more than that. Christian Wood, he played 14 minutes, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 of 2 from 3, and 4 of 7 from the field. Again, another solid outing from him. Again, I don't like that LeBron and AD have to play 40 minutes a game. That's not good, right? Like longevity-wise, we still have 41 games remaining. And for LeBron and AD to have to play 40-plus minutes a game, it's a little rough. But anyway, let's dive into all of your super chats, all of your regular questions, everything like that. And also real quick, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You people are beautiful. Appreciate you. All right, let me get to the top real quick, and then we will dive into it. We beat a good team. We did. Solid win for us. Yep. GG. This was a very good win. I am right there with you. Very good win. We back. I don't want to say that yet. Believe me, there is a very, 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 very large part of me that wants to I'm waiting for that like 5-game win streak where you put it together and I can just go, finally, there it is. There's the Lakers, right? But again, we've been fooled before is my problem. We've had games like this before where Lakers looked excellent and then they play 3 straight games and they're awful, right? That's my concern because schedule doesn't get any easier, right? So we got to start rattling off some wins here. Don't trade D'Lo. He is good on offense. D'Lo is very, very good. Keep D'Lo, trade reuse. I've made the argument for that as well. 6 players in double figures, good defense. That's what I'm saying. You got to do it. No trades. I still absolutely believe a trade happens. Yeah, I don't think one game is going to erase the Lakers trying to find a trade. YSC Wood playing baby minutes, but we also got the win. Who do you think we're going to land at the trade deadline? Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Christian Wood play a little more. Again, I don't like seeing AD and LeBron playing 40 minutes. I'd like, to utilize your depth a little better, right? Obviously, you need them to play what they need to play in order for you to win. You're not really in a position to, play them 25 minutes a game, right? But, yeah, could we have cut back a couple minutes for them to get a little extra rest and got Christian Wood and some of the other guys in there a little more? Possibly. But I'm not going to really complain about the win. And then as far as who do I think we're going to land at the deadline, I don't know. Lakers are supposed to be talking to the Atlanta Hawks. There's a lot of reports, a lot of rumors going around that the Lakers could get Clint Capella, potentially a Bogdan Bogdanovic. I've even suggested, trying to convince them to throw in like a Sadiq Bey. If you can get DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, that'd be tough to say no to, right? Even if you're trading reuse or whatever. I just think that'd be really hard to say no to. You get your shooter, you get your center, your shot blocking, offensive rebounding. He's like one of the best offensive rebounding centers in the league. He's averaging 4.8 offensive rebounds a game, right? That'd be very huge for the Lakers. Help in that department. I do have concerns about LeBron playing the 3. There's a reason LeBron plays the 4, and not the 3. Just at this stage of his career, it's harder for him to chase around, 24-year-old, twitchy, hyper athletic, quick wings, and you don't want him to have to do that for 40 minutes a game. But at this point, you kind of got to do what you got to do. If you can get a trade that makes sense, if the deal's there, I think that they'll take that. Now, there was the report from Brian Windhorst that the Lakers are essentially out on Zach LaVine, that there's a 0% chance. I think that's a little overblown. Could the Lakers be less interested in Zach LaVine than DeJounte Murray and other pieces? Absolutely. Right? But what happens if that doesn't come through? Right? What, the Lakers are just not going to do anything? The Lakers are just stand pat? I mean, they could, but 0% chance, I think, is just an overblown statement. Also, how much of that is just leverage, right? Nobody wants Zach LaVine except for the Lakers. If the Lakers are the only team, and it's like, well, we don't really want him. Kind of put some pressure on Chicago. Maybe Chicago kind of caves on, maybe adding an Alex Caruso or maybe adding an Andre Drummond or something like that, right? But time will tell. If I believe the Lakers will land one of DeJounte Murray or Zach LaVine. I'm still team Zach LaVine. But look, if you can get DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and Bogdanovich or Hunter or Bey, that would be tough. I would be all for that. I just have, my thing is if it's a one or the other, if it's you can get DeJounte Murray or you could get Zach LaVine, give me Zach LaVine because he's just going to be the better fit. He provides a lot what we need. Contract stuff, I get that. Again, Lakers are locked up long-term anyway. No matter what they do, they're over the apron. Neither of those guys are going to just by themselves turn the Lakers around entirely. But I think Zach LaVine's floor with this Lakers team is higher than with DeJounte Murray. And there's no real questions about LaVine's fit. There's a lot of questions with DeJounte Murray's fit. But the way it's looking, they're going to land DeJounte Murray and others. But time will tell. We will see. We could have shot better, but I will take the win. Yes. Tyler, I'm just really struggling to understand what y'all see in the Atlanta trade. Overall, it is a lateral move. Realistically, how much better is Murray than D'Lo? Well, I'm not super sold on the Atlanta trade either. Is Bogdanovich really that much better than Reeves defensively? He'll get attacked the same way. Plus, we give up a whole Rui in the process. Where's the net value we are getting back? And then where's the third part? Here we go. And in modern NBA, I will never commit $20 million to a center position. There is little to no net value in this move. Them collectively fit more of a need, right? Rui is never really going to get the opportunity that he needs because he can only play the 4. Even in this game, right? Every time he got switched onto a smaller guy, he got blown by. He just doesn't have the lateral movement for that. Bogdanovich is somebody that is questionable as far as the defensive side of things, but you don't have to start him. You could bring him off the bench. He's came off the bench for Atlanta most times than not anyway, but he gives you a guy that he's just a better shooter off ball, moves off ball, is accustomed to playing off ball, can make some plays. As the 4th option on Atlanta is averaging 17 a game, almost 18 a game. Imagine if he was playing alongside LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and DeJounte Murray. But Clint Capella, you're talking about just shot blocking, rebounding, give you another traditional 7-footer as opposed to somebody that's smaller. I like it. My biggest concern is DeJounte Murray just because of the fit. He's been terrible finishing around the rim this season. He's shooting 40% from 3, but he's a career 34% guy. And we see every time a guy shoots well elsewhere, comes to Lakers and just completely forgets how to shoot. Look at what Malik Beasley is doing. Malik Beasley is number 1 in 3-point percentage in the league right now and is totally just en fuego for the Milwaukee Bucks. But last year, he couldn't make a 3 to save his life, right? So I do have concerns about that. Defensively, DeJounte Murray has been terrible. He's been on par with Austin Reeves defensively. So I have concerns teams are going to target him. Will he be better? Sure. But right now, DeJounte Murray's living on defensive reputation in Laker Nation, right? many Laker fans are like, he's a great defender. He hasn't been the last like 3 years. Like he hasn't been since he won since he was an all defensive point guard. And that was what, 4 years ago? Now something like that. So again, if we're judging off of what guys did years ago, then don't trade anybody. Right? Like this team is the best team in the league if we're going off of what guys did previous years, right? So that's the problem. Like, what does he do now? And right now, there are a lot of concerns about DeJounte Murray. So I do have my concerns. I'm not like super sold on the trade, but I do understand it from value perspective. You get DeJounte Murray, if he can get back to just being good defensively. I'm not saying, all defensively, but if he can just get back to being good defensively, now you have a point of attack, athletic guard, right? On top of that, you got a guy that can play make. When he is allowed to play point guard, he is up there as far as like advanced metrics and everything go when he's able to play point guard. Will the Lakers allow him to do that? If 3-point shooting continues, that'd be good. Look, DeJounte Murray is better than Reeves. He's better than D'Lo. How much? It's a real question, right? But Clint Capella would be better than any center that we get, that we currently have by far, not name Anthony Davis, obviously. And then you go get Bogdan Bogdanovic, who is a guy that basically kind of alleviates some of the loss of like an Austin Reeves. Guy that can play off ball, high IQ, can shoot, play well alongside LeBron, all of those things. I don't hate the trade. Obviously, yes, Clint Capella, I don't think he's a $20 million a year center. But beggars can't be choosers, right? The Lakers aren't in a position where they can go get a bunch of prime real estate, right? The Lakers aren't in a position where they have a bunch of assets to use to go trade for X, Y, and Z player, right? So, again, you're going to, like, the reason the Lakers could get Clint Capella, could get DeJounte Murray, could get Bogdan Bogdanovic is because of the players versus the price and so on and so forth, need around the rest of the league, all of those things, right? The situation that Atlanta's in. So I understand committing $20 million to a center position. It's tough. But the Lakers, again, are locked up long-term anyway, right? So all it's going to affect is the cap room. If it works and it's great, then you're in a good position. But there's definitely concerns. Believe me, I'm not far off from you. Andrew, coming out the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. We clearly match up well with OKC. We need a big move. I think we need a big move too. Yeah, I mean, look, we are just too big for OKC. It's why I don't believe OKC wins the chip this year. They're going to run into us or the Denver Nuggets or the, Minnesota Timberwolves. They're going to run into one of the bigger teams, and they're just going to get ran through because they just don't have the size to compete. And that's their biggest problem. The Lakers are just too big for them. Lakers basically get whatever they want because they don't have the size to match up, especially in the interior, right? So the Lakers just kind of bully ball them inside. They're not a physical team. So, boom, they just go and get easy buckets. But, yeah, I mean, we got to do something. And hopefully it's sooner rather than later, right? I'm hoping, whether it's DeJounte Murray and all that, whether it's Zach LaVine, whatever it is and whoever it is, got to get it done sooner rather than later. Lakers are supposed to be talking to the Atlanta Hawks this week. When is that? Is it today? Is it tomorrow? Is it Friday? I don't know. But hopefully that conversation leads to, okay, let's get this done, right? That's my hope. But appreciate you. Where were we? Nice win. Just got to do it about 4 or 5 more times in a row now, and then we'll be all right. Yeah, you gotta win about eight in a row now. Get us back to 6 games over 500. I don't know if you remember last stream said LeBron James could fit in better. Tonight he did. Didn't overly dominate, needed the ball. Ball movement is key. Exactly, Trevor. Exactly. I was just talking about that in my rant. This is the LeBron James I want to see more frequent. I really do. This is the LeBron James I want to see heavily. Like, give me the LeBron James that can just play off ball, put him in actions, put him in sets, allow him to just move. Dude, who's stopping LeBron James off ball? Anybody that's as quick as him is too little. Anybody that's as big as him is not quick enough. He's going to beat every single guy one way or another, not to mention his IQ and all that stuff. Get him downhill, put him in some post-up action, get him in some off-ball movements, get him in some backdoor sequences, right? Like, just put him in spots to where he can function. LeBron has talked since the bubble. LeBron James has been begging to play off ball. And we went and got Dennis Schroeder, then decided not to play off ball. Went and got Russell Westbrook, which was his idea. Didn't play off ball. We go and get D'Angelo Russell. Doesn't play off ball. The only reason he remotely played off ball last season when we got D'Lo and stuff like that was because he was hurt. And he couldn't really, he was limited in what he could do. Right? This year, he's been more aggressive, more on ball. D'Lo's playing off ball more. Why do you have a point guard if LeBron James is going to be your point guard? So either lean in to LeBron James being your point guard, which is fine. LeBron is an incredible point guard. He's still probably the best point guard in the league. If you want to lean into LeBron playing point guard, fine. Go make trades to, balance that out. Again, Zach LaVine. But if LeBron's going to play this way, and LeBron's going to be willing to let the point guard play point guard, then I'm totally okay with DeJounte Murray, right? If LeBron is willing to allow your point guard to play the position that he is designed to play, then I am totally okay with going and getting DeJounte Murray. And I think DeJounte Murray would work in then, because DeJounte Murray, when he's allowed to play point guard, is an excellent point guard. I still have my concerns about him, don't get me wrong, but again, why are you going to go trade for a point guard if LeBron James is just going to play your point guard, right? Might as well go get a shooting guard that can play off ball, score with the best of them, right? And then LeBron can just run your point. That's my thing. What LeBron are we going to get post-trade? That's what I think Rob Pelinka needs to talk to LeBron about. LeBron, do you want to play off ball? Yes, I want to play off ball. Okay, we're going to get DeJounte Murray, but he's the point guard. Do you want to play on ball? Because if you want to play on ball, then we're going to go look at these trades over here. Okay? That's what we need to figure out. That's what we need to find. It was always that easy, Darvin. Well, everything looks good when the players show up too, though. But I do think Darvin finally did the right thing with the lineup. Listen to the Windy podcast. He said it in passing, said, I think, and I didn't go into detail. I don't think he has inside information. Look, I made a video about it earlier today, diving into that Windhorst said there's 0% chance the Lakers go and get Zach LaVine. I said in that video, I don't look, Brian Windhorst, I've said it in videos where he's speaking highly and things that I agree with, and I've said it in videos where he said things I disagree with. You got to take what Brian Windhorst says with a grain of salt. When was the last time Brian Windhorst was correct? Brian Windhorst got on national television and said there's 0 chance that the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook unless they include 2 firsts, and that's just for Russell Westbrook. Brian Windhorst is almost never on the pulse with the Lakers. I can't think of the last time Brian Windhorst said something that actually happened that wasn't already reported by others that was a consensus, right? Woj has said stuff, and then Brian Windhorst has been yeah, I heard that as well, right? Okay, buddy, so you heard what we all heard. Woj said this was going to happen, or, Shams or whatever, right? So, again, I don't know how much I buy. I just don't believe anything is 0%. I say it all the time with anything. Is it low? Sure. Right? Would the Lakers prefer to go get DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and Bogdan Bogdanović? Sure. I absolutely think the Lakers would rather do that because you're getting 3 pieces for the price of Zach LaVine. I get it, right? I'm all for that, right? But what happens if that falls through? What happens if that doesn't happen? The Lakers don't want to trade Austin Reeves. The only way the Lakers are most likely, the only way I see the Lakers getting a trade done with Atlanta is if they include Austin Reeves. So if they're not willing to include Austin Reeves and Atlanta says, all right, we're not doing this, and you don't get DeJounte Murray, then what? They're just not going to make a trade? Or what? They're just going to trade for Clint Capella or something like that? Right? So you're just not going to trade for Zach. I don't buy that it's 0%. If he would have came out and said it's 30% or 40%, that they end up trading for Zach LaVine, I would have been like, okay, I can see that. I can see the Lakers prioritizing DeJounte Murray, which they clearly are. So I'm okay with that. That's fine. But to say 0%, like that's just silly to me, right? And then the Lakers are going to go and make that trade. And then what? Brian Windhorst is going to be like, he's just going to brush it off like nothing ever happened. So again, I don't think it's 0%. Is it like 30%? Sure, I could see that. But you're telling me if all else fails and they could get Zach LaVine without giving up Austin Reeves and basically just swap salaries, and there's reports that Chicago would give up other things to get rid of Zach LaVine. So you're telling me like the Lakers could get assets and take on Zach LaVine, who would make sense and be a fit? And you're telling me that that's 0%? I just don't buy that. But I do think that they prefer DeJounte Murray and stuff like that, which again, depending on what you get, I'm all for that. Dustin coming out, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Vanderbilt should be starting over Prince. Darvin Ham said he was going to start the main guys, the guys from last season. Maybe they were just maybe he's just trying to wean Jared Vanderbilt back into it, right? Take his time, not rushing Vando. Because Vando even said himself he's not fully there yet, but he's getting there. So maybe Darvin Ham had a conversation with him and was like, are you there or not? And maybe he was like, no, I'm not. Like, let me kind of wean into it a little bit. We don't know what the conversations behind closed doors are. Because Darvin Ham said he was going to go with the starting five that led us to the conference finals, right? And he saw everybody but Vanderbilt. So I'm curious to see how that goes. I don't mind Taurean Prince in the starting lineup. Obviously, you're not as big. And then defensively, obviously, because of Jared Vanderbilt. But shooting-wise, like Taurean Prince just had a bad shooting game. He's been like money all season for the most part. He's had a game here and there. But for the most part, he's been money. So I'm not going to really hold it to him like that. Like, what does that look like when Taurean Prince is shooting like he has been? Does that look better? But again, it just depends on how things shape up. I imagine that Jared Vanderbilt will be in the starting lineup at some point. Christian coming out with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Honestly, I would stay still with this lineup. Is good and wait until the offseason when we can go big game hunting for May be a Donovan Mitchell. The problem is that like it's one game, right? This team as a whole has underperformed. It's not just the lineup. Like Reeves has been hot and cold. D'Lo at times has been hot and cold. A lot of that has just been inconsistencies as far as like rotation minutes. 1 minute you're playing 17 minutes, right? Like guys in general have been very hot and cold. The team, the effort, the energy, a lot of those things. Like, yes, there is an argument to be made, right? That like, okay, you finish the season, see where Darvin Ham is. At draft day, the Lakers would have 3 firsts that they could trade. They'd have 3 tradable firsts at that point. So maybe you can do a draft day deal. Here's the other part to that, though. There is no guarantee that 1, Donovan Mitchell becomes available. 2, that the Cavs trade Donovan Mitchell to us, right? You look at like the Knicks, even with our 3 firsts, the Knicks could go get him if they wanted to. Or like a team like the Sixers, right? Like there's a lot of competition. Although 3 firsts gives you a lot. But also, does D'Lo end up leaving? Right, so now you don't have D'Lo's salary. Now you lost D'Lo for nothing. All right, it could put you in a position. And think throughout the times, throughout Laker history, where the Lakers have waited for that other bigger name, and they never came. Lakers passed up on multiple guys that were more than willing to come to the Lakers to go get Paul George. Paul George ends up staying in OKC. Lakers give up multiple guys that were more than willing to come to the Lakers to go chase Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard ends up going to the Clippers, right? Do you really want to pass up on potentially turning not only this season around, but the next several seasons if you make the right trade and it works out, which is always a question, but any trade period, even in the offseason, is a real question. Do you really want to basically punt this season in order to go make a trade in the offseason that may or may not be there? Right? So one in the hand, to me, one in the hand is worth two in the bush. I would love to have Donovan Mitchell more than I'd love Zach LaVine or DeJounte Murray. But you're taking a big gamble for something that may not happen. Right? And it's not like Donovan Mitchell has been a guy that's like, oh, I want to go. Like, he wanted to go to the Knicks. So does he still want to go to the Knicks? If so, then he could potentially go into free agency, not next season, but the following season. He's going to have a voice. And if he's not super sold on going to Lakers and being the third option with the Lakers, is that something that is there? To me, I look at it as get the deal that you can get done right now. Ride this out, see how it goes, right? Collect the rest of your assets. You'd still have, depending on how everything shapes up, but you'd still have a first or couple firsts come the trade deadline or the draft day. So you could probably make another trade or two in the offseason if need be. Or if you win the championship this year because you did do the right trade or whatever, now you're just kind of trimming around the edges. Like, there's options there. And you'd still have guys that are tradable. Teams would still want Bogdanovich. There are other teams that still want, a Clint Capella. Like, I don't know. My thing is like, go get the sure thing. Do you really want to run the risk that something else may come, right? That just, the Lakers have been burned too many times doing that. That's my concern. Andrew coming out hot with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. That's my issue. He said 0%. Absurd in my opinion. Exactly. I'm right there with you. Like, again, if he said it's extremely low or it's extremely unlikely. I mean, there have been other reports that have said that the Lakers trading for Zach LaVine is unlikely or it's low or whatever, right? That I would have fully said, okay, I can see that. I believe that. But to say 0%, to say, like, his words were 0% chance that the Lakers trade for Zach LaVine, that I think is just silly. Now you're painting yourself into a corner. Like, I don't even like to talk definitives. Like, when do you ever hear me say, oh, I guarantee that this guy, like, I say, I personally think that this is very likely to happen or whatever. I don't like to speak definitives. And I even tell people all the time, hey, don't promise that. Don't, because it's the quickest way to make yourself look silly. Because you don't know, especially in sports, you have no idea. No idea. So either two things. Either A, Brian Windhorst is just talking out of his backside, or B, the Lakers told Windhorst to say that because it benefits them, right? Because you always got to look at, like, where's the information coming from and who would it benefit? A report that there is 0% chance that the Lakers trade for Zach LaVine doesn't benefit Chicago. It's not good for Chicago because there have been countless reports that say the Lakers are the only ones that want Zach LaVine. So if you're Chicago and they really are as adamant about trading for Zach LaVine, or trading Zach LaVine, not trading for, trading Zach LaVine, like, and the one team that wants him is out of the race, well, now what do you do? Right? So to me, it's either Ryan Windhorst talking out of his backside or it's a leverage play because he said 0%. Again, if he would have said it's very unlikely or the percentage is very low, something like that, speaking more generally, then I would have been like, yeah, I can see that. I buy into that. I subscribe to that. But for him to say 0%, to basically say there's zero chance that the Lakers are going to go and trade for Zach LaVine, I just think is a little, you're over-exaggerating there, right? I mean, the Lakers we know for a fact that the Lakers have spoken to Chicago. If the Lakers spoke to Chicago, there's at least interest there, which means that there is potential there, right? So it's not zero, because if it was 0%, the Lakers would have never even wasted their time talking about that. You're telling me if the Chicago right now said, hey, just match salaries and we'll give them to you, or tell you what, we'll give you Zach LaVine and we'll give you Alex Caruso. We don't even want Reeves. We don't even want a first. We don't want anything. Just match salaries, right? I'm not saying that would happen. But you're telling me if that happened right now, the Lakers would say no? if they could keep Austin Reeves and figure out how to do whatever and get LaVine and Caruso and all that stuff, you're telling me that the Lakers wouldn't do that and not have to give up a first or anything, right? Again, I'm not saying that they would do that, that Chicago would do that. That'd be silly for Chicago. But if the answer is, of course, the Lakers would do that if that was a real possibility, then guess what? It's not 0% that the Lakers would trade him. So, again, I think it was a little silly, if I'm being honest. But, Lord, I thought I was finna have to drag Vin into the court myself in the final stretch at the end. I think Cam's problem is minimalizing and thinking he can get by with what's on the court, put him in. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like Darvin Ham, and I've said this before, I feel like Darvin Ham, it's like he's trying to show he has the biggest brain in the room. And it's almost like he's overthinking or overanalyzing or, trying to, again, like if they're just killing it and off to the races, then fine. You don't want to like disrupt flow. I get it. But like, it wasn't like that. It was kind of like, all right, can we get Vandal back in the game now? Like, so again, it's just awareness, right? At times I feel like Darvin Ham, he does things to try to be galaxy brain, and he's not. And it's like, dude, keep it simple, right? Simplicity sells. Great win. I'm right there with you. Rui was cooking. Then Ham took him out the game. Darvin is holding his own players back. I mean, I've talked about how Rui doesn't utilize it. Problem is that they went smaller and Rui was getting cooked. So they got Vando back in the game. I didn't mind that, but there is a big problem with that. I think Rui and Gabe are expendable. Yeah, the problem is that Gabe Vincent, at this point, no one's going to really want to trade for Gabe Vincent because he's still out for another like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Vando is finally back for real. The way I knew his energy was rubbing off, it is electric. Yeah, and it looks great, which I love to see. And he's getting there. Hit that like button. Let's effing go. Yes, Martin, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, follow Martin's lead. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button too. I really appreciate it. There's no reason to mortgage the future with a trade. Just play like they played tonight. Problem is, like, Lakers' future is mortgaged regardless. Like, the Pelicans still own their picks for the foreseeable future, for either this year or next year. But after that, the Lakers would still have all their assets and picks anyway. You're tied up long term regardless, right? Everybody's on the Lakers, or at least a majority of the core guys are all on like 4-year deals. So your foreseeable future is locked up regardless. And a trade in 2029, or you trade in a pick for 2029, I mean, you deal with it then, right? I mean, you're talking literally 6 years from now, 5 years from now, you trade in a 2029, 2030 pick swap. Like, who knows? Like, Lakers could be the worst team in the league, sure. They could also be the best team in the league in 6 years. Like, who knows where you're at in 6 years, right? Like, so again, you're not really mortgaging your future, and you're in win now position. The Lakers weren't in win now. Like, if LeBron James was showing clear decline, and Anthony Davis was just not it, then yeah, I'd be like, don't do anything. Like, why are you gonna do anything significant, right? You might as well just play it out. But no, LeBron James has been the most efficient he has been since the Miami Heat days. Anthony Davis is playing the best he's played since being in the bubble, not even the bubble year, literally in the bubble. And you owe it to them to go try to win a championship. You do. And you also got to keep in mind, you want to talk about future? Why do superstars come to Lakers? Why do players like LeBron come to Lakers? Because LeBron knows the Lakers will do whatever it takes to win. They have a history of it. Kobe won it out. What happened? You satisfy him and you get him to winning, right? Why did Shaq come to Lakers? He knew he was going to win with the Lakers, right? Why was Powell excited to come to Lakers? Because he knew he was going to win with the Lakers, right? The Lakers have a history of doing whatever it takes. LeBron James comes, Lakers go all in and mortgage their future to go get Anthony Davis and we win an NBA championship. That's what the Lakers do. The Lakers are in a very privy position because they're in a position where they know other stars will come, but it's also about perception to other stars in the league. It's like, oh, why did the Lakers give Kobe that max money after the Achilles and everything? When that was, I love Kobe. Look, Kobe's Mr. Laker, but that was a terrible. Like, if you just remove your bias of Kobe Bryant because he's so loved, just from a business and basketball standpoint, that was a terrible decision, right? Because it halted the Lakers for like 6 years. But why did you do that? Because LeBron James came. Because what that did is that signaled, if you come here, even in the end of your career, we are going to take care of you. We are going to do whatever it takes to, you take care of us, we're going to take care of you. Kobe won NBA championships, became all-time greatest Laker. He earned that money, but it was also a signal to everybody else, right? That's why the Lakers do what they do. It's not just for LeBron and AD. It's for the next guy. Who are the next guys that come to Lakers? Andrew, coming to help the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I disagree with you on the Atlanta package. I don't like Murray all in at whatever costs, $60 million. Two, LaVine, Caruso, Drummond, and Torrey Craig is better. I do like LaVine, Caruso, and Drummond. The problem is will they really give up Caruso? Right? And because if you can get, like, my biggest thing is just the big question with Murray. Right? In a perfect world, right? Murray continues to shoot 40% from three. He gets back to being that all defensive point guard, and he gets to play on ball more. If that's the case, and you get Clint Capella and you get Bogdan Bogdanovic, good luck beating the Lakers. However, the other side of that coin is, like, we only have the information that we have right now to go off of. And right now, DeJounte Murray has been terrible defensively, can't finish around the rim, and can't play off the ball, or is not good at playing off the ball. He's been better this year, but he's not good playing off the ball. So, to me, what I've always maintained is, what is the other pieces? If it's just you can get DeJounte Murray or Zach LaVine, then give me Zach LaVine. If it's Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond, or it's DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, I lean towards the Atlanta trade, because I think Clint Capella is an upgrade over Drummond. I think that Bogdan Bogdanovic would help offset some of the scoring woes, provides that other shooter that you'd get with Zach LaVine. I just think the overall package would be that. Now, if the Lakers could get Caruso, then I think it's tougher, right? To me, it just depends on if I had a crystal ball, like, let's say you get Zach LaVine, Alex Caruso, and Andre Drummond, but I could get Clint Capella, Murray, and Bogdan Bogdanovic with, like, I think they would throw in Saddiq Bey, just like I do agree. I think Chicago would throw in Torrey Craig, right? Like, if I had a crystal ball and I could see DeJounte Murray, and it's like, oh man, he gets to play point guard. LeBron plays off ball like we saw in this game. DeJounte Murray continues to shoot 40% from three, and he also gets back to being all defensive guard. I like the Atlanta package better. My big problem, and the reason I continuously lean towards Zach LaVine, is you know what you're going to get with Zach LaVine. The floor with Zach LaVine is lower. The floor with Zach LaVine is higher than the floor with DeJounte Murray. The floor for DeJounte Murray is like Westbrook level fit. Because DeJounte Murray, like, what could happen is DeJounte Murray goes back to his career average three-point shooting, which is 34% from three. And then he can't finish around the rim. He has to play off ball because he's playing alongside LeBron James. And he is the defender that is worse than D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves is this year. Right? That is a very real possibility. If that's the case, give me Zach LaVine. Because I think people overblow Zach LaVine's defense. Go look at Zach LaVine's advanced metrics. Defensively, he has been better. He would literally be our third best defensive player. behind 80 Jared Vanderbilt, or sorry, fourth technically, because Cam Reddish has been really good this year. So our fourth. Like he would be an upgrade defensively over basically everybody on this roster. Again, don't believe me? Go look at his metrics. Also the athleticism, all of that stuff. He just has to be bought in and focused. Offensively, there's no question. Zach LaVine is the better offensive player. The fit, no question. Zach LaVine would be the better fit. But it just depends on, again, what is the cost? What is both parties willing to give up? Right? Because, like, again, if you can get Murray, Bogdan, and Clint Capella for, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, basically the trade that it would cost to go get LaVine, Caruso, and Drummond, right? And you can get all those guys and get a Saddiq Bey, and you basically are doing like a 6-for-4 swap or whatever, and you give up the first and the pick swap, kind of lean towards that. I just think it'd be hard to say no, because the Lakers still, even if you go get Andre Drummond and Caruso and LaVine, there's no doubt Caruso is the better guard. Like, that's what I lean towards. Like, if you get Caruso, you get that point of attack. Like, LaVine, Caruso, Vanderbilt, LeBron, and AD would be tough. Be terrifying on both sides of the basketball. And I lean towards that mightily. But to me, it just comes down to, like, what DeJounte Murray do you get? Because if you get that all-star, all-defensive DeJounte Murray, then, I mean, he's undeniable. I mean, that guy would be great because he basically would give you the defense and that Alex Caruso provides. He'd give you the shooting, right? And now you get Bogdanovich, who is a career like 40% three-point shooter, play off the ball, gives you 17 points. And then you just get more bodies. I just think you get more of what you need. But if it's like one or the other, then 100% you go get Zach LaVine. I am team Zach LaVine. I am 100% Zach LaVine. It's hard for me. It would be hard for me to say no. But it comes down to what are you getting from DeJounte Murray? What DeJounte Murray are you getting? That's my biggest concern and question. So I completely get you, Andrew. Completely get you. And look, I'm on the same page with you, Zach LaVine. I want Zach LaVine, Caruso, and Drummond. But will they give up Caruso for one? Even if you include Austin Reeves, would they do that? And then two, again, what Murray are you going to get? But I appreciate you. As practice defense dude, he's been excellent. The offense starting five yet. Ham still has to go. Yeah, they're not going to get rid of him. They're not going to get rid of him this season. Defense is causing OKC problems for sure. Yep. This is the best rotation I've seen Ham play all season. But Rui just needs more minutes. Yeah, like I said, I didn't like Darvin Ham was actually very good this game. But even timeouts and stuff, I thought he did a good job this game. But that's the thing. We've seen good games from Darvin Ham. We've seen good stretches from Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham in the playoffs was excellent. Problem is that, like, this year, it's just like, it's like he's overthinking. It's like he's trying to have the biggest brain in the room, right? And it's just like, dude, simplify it. You're getting carried away. Slow it down. Just you know what the obvious answer is, and it's like he's trying to, instead of answering 2 + 2 = 4, he's trying to get the 4, but the long way. He's trying to yeah, you could go 2 + 2 = 4, but if you took 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, that equals 4 is what it's just like, dude, like, just take the 2 and the 2, add them together, equal 4. We don't need to go this way to get to the same result, right? That's kind of what it feels like to me at times. Maybe that's a terrible analogy, but you get my point. Ham is the coach. Ham played D'Lo at the point, not when he was in the game, and LeBron played when D'Lo was out. No AR running point ever again. Yeah, look, again, I've talked about it. Let D'Lo play point guard. Let LeBron play off ball. LeBron will have plenty of time to run point guard. He will. He'll have plenty of time to run point guard. A LaVine move would be next level. Will literally transform this team. Look, I am with you. Zach LaVine is my best fit for the Lakers, without a doubt. Again, the floor for Zach LaVine is much higher than anybody else. And I think you can make an argument the upside would be higher. But regardless, the Lakers need, like, if the Lakers just get Zach LaVine, like I think the Lakers would be excellent, but they still need more. That's what I mean, Andrew, when I'm talking about like, what are the other things? There's no doubt Zach LaVine, in my mind, you get Zach LaVine over DeJounte Murray. But what are the other things that you're able to get? That's my question. If it's one or the other, then give me Zach LaVine. But if it's like you can get Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond, or you could get DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Saddiq Bey, I'd rather have all four of those guys because I just think overall that impact would be great. And you just check off more boxes, if that makes sense. I think that was a better way to explain it than how I explained it earlier. Ham is 100% the problem. I've seen enough. Let's see. Fiddling with the rotation that worked to begin with got us into bigger holes than what we should have. Left starters alone. Work through it instead in different lineups daily. Look, I didn't mind Darvin Ham, especially with all the injuries, because I mean, even you couldn't start the season with the starting five we had last year because Jared Vanderbilt was hurt the whole time. I didn't mind early on Darvin Ham trying different things, right? I mean, I do think you need structure in that starting unit, but very early on, I didn't mind it. But which the Lakers were looking good early on, right? So there was that argument. But the problem was Darvin Ham, it wasn't just early on he was experimenting, because that's when you want to experiment. It's when you want to try things, right? The problem was he just kept trying things. Some of it was injury, right? Some of it was like, half our team is out. But even then, like there were too many times where he got away from what was working. And it's like, these guys clearly work together. Stick with them. Oh, why are you doing this, right? Or he would try to like show he was the biggest brain in the room rather than just like simplifying it. And then when Vandal came back, he clearly wasn't who he was. So I didn't mind it. But the problem is he never found that consistency. He just kept gambling, right? Gamble a little early on. Because how do you know what works until you try it out, right? Try it out. But the problem was he never got to the point where it was like, okay, this is clearly my rotation. He still hasn't gotten to that point. This is clearly my starting five. This is clearly my rotation. And then as things continued to get worse, he didn't just go with the simple answer. He didn't just go with old reliable. He kept trying to show, I'm bigger, I'm smarter than this. I can figure this out. And it's like, dude, just do what we know would work. Do this. Just here you go, right? That's where my problem lies. Thank you, Martin. Yes, like Martin said, smash that like button. Support the show. Yes, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. People are beautiful. Thank you. Andrew, I don't even think we can get Murray. Too many teams. I'm right there with it. It's way too many. That is something I have I made an entire video about that. Like, how realistic is DeJounte Murray? How much of it is just the Atlanta Hawks driving up the DeJounte Murray price? So I fully agree with you in that regard. Too many teams could outbid. LaVine is not only the best option, he's also available for an all-time low best fit. I'm right there with you, Andrew. Like I said, look, to me, it's what do the deals look like? Right. So like, let's say it's just, you can either A, get Zach LaVine, or B, get DeJounte Murray. To me, it's an easy answer. You get Zach LaVine. Now to me, it's like, okay, well, you can get one of these, but Zach LaVine and DeJounte Murray are going to cost the same price, right? Not contract-wise. I'm talking about like what it would cost. Again, give me Zach LaVine. But now it's like, okay, you could get Zach LaVine and only Andre Drummond, or you could get DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Saddiq Bey for the same price that you could get for Zach LaVine. At that point, that's where I start leaning towards you give me the bigger package. Because I just think all of those guys, if it works, you basically solve all of your holes, right? Ideally. But again, what does it look like? The problem is we don't know what the conversations are, right? We're going off of like conflicting reports. One guy says this, another guy says this, another guy says that. That's where my problem lies, right? Like if I knew, okay, we could get Zach LaVine for just basically matching salaries, and they would just throw in Andre Drummond just for the sake of it, go do that, right? And then it's like, oh, or we could go get DeJounte Murray and like Clint Capella, right? Not Bogdan Bogdanovic, not Sadiq Bey, not everything else, right? Well, you could get Clint Capella and you could get DeJounte Murray, but you got to give up Austin Reeves, everything that you have to give up for Zach LaVine. And on top of that, you have to give up 2 firsts. I'd rather just go get Zach LaVine. Like, even with Clint Capella, I'd rather just go get Zach LaVine. Because, yes, contract-wise, yes. But you still have flexibility to do other moves. You'd have more draft picks. You'd have more flexibility as for other trades. Again, it just depends. To me, it depends on what it is. I am team Zach LaVine. But if you told me for the price of Zach LaVine and Andre Drummond, you can get all 4 other pieces that basically fix all of your holes, then I'm kind of like, okay, well then, yeah, give me DeJounte Murray and all that stuff, and I'll take my chances with DeJounte Murray in the fit. Because DeJounte Murray still has trade value. DeJounte Murray still has, DeJounte Murray still has everything else. Like you could move him easier than you could Zach LaVine. Right? So if it doesn't work, you could still keep everything else and then just trade DeJounte Murray. This is kind of where I'm at. Again, it just depends. Let's see. This is what happens when they play with purpose tonight. Exactly, Elijah. Right there with you. Play with purpose, win basketball games. Play the right way, win back. Talk about it all the time. If they play Lakers basketball, they're going to win games. It's not a hard concept. Play the right way, and you're going to win. It's crazy how that works. Every time the Lakers win a game, it's like six people in double figures, 32 plus assists, excellent defense, energy's there, teams in it start to finish. It's just crazy how that seems to work. It's just crazy that always seems to be a trend. So I'm with you. Andrew, I watch all of your videos. LaVine is the answer. Look, I'm right there with you. Believe me, I'm not arguing with you. I love Zach LaVine. I do. I really like. I think Zach LaVine solves wonders, if I'm being honest. But again, again, the problem is we don't know what the conversations are, right? We don't know what, like, would they be willing to give up Alex Caruso? If the answer is yes, then go get Caruso. Like, if you have to trade Austin Reeves and you can get Caruso, LaVine, and Andre Drummond, go do that. Go do that. Easy answer. But if it's like, no, we're not giving up Caruso no matter what, keep Austin Reeves, and you could trade Reeves and you could trade everything. You could just go get a bigger return and package and more tradable pieces to kind of retool if you need to or whatever. I don't know. It's to me, I'm just kind of like, that'd be tough to say no to. But look, I think LaVine is the answer also. Great second half. However, the underlying issues are still the effort on rebounds, turning over the ball, closing out games. But a win is a win, I guess. Yeah, there's definitely issues. I was touching on those earlier. Got to rebound the ball better. 17 turnovers is not. You're going to lose a lot of games doing that. There's a lot. For real, I was all for DeMar at first. Then I just looked into LaVine nonstop. Look, I still like the idea of DeMar DeRozan. The thing is like we just have new information now, right? Like I was team like, and people bring that up all the time. I thought you wanted DeMar DeRozan. I thought you were so adamant about DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, when it was both of these guys are available, who would you rather have? Essentially, to me, it was like give me DeMar DeRozan, give me Alex Caruso, give me Andre Drummond. Let's go. All right, that was an easy answer. But now we have new information. Now Chicago doesn't want to trade DeMar DeRozan. Now DeMar DeRozan has twice now publicly said he wants to re-sign with the Chicago Bulls. Now, Chicago doesn't want to tear it down and start over like the original reports were. Now they want to keep basically everybody, just trade Zach LaVine. So now it's like, okay, well, I'm okay with Zach LaVine. Give me Zach LaVine, right? Because my thinking was you could get DeMar DeRozan, Alex Caruso, and Andre Drummond, and you would still be able to technically go do other things, right? If you wanted to and if you needed to. But again, now things have changed. So I'm completely with you, Andrew. LaVine a flamethrower on offense yet. And the way he's playing right now with Chicago is perfect. That is exactly the way we would need him to play. Extending and continuing to move the basketball, being an extension as a secondary playmaker, being aggressive on the offensive side where need be, rebounding the basketball. The guy's been rebounding like a madman. Like Zach LaVine is doing everything he can to show the Lakers, come get me. That's exactly what he's doing. He's like, hey, this is how I'm going to need to play with you guys. So here you go. Lakers play with the heart against a young team that's hungry on the West. I think LeBron played off ball most game and let D'Lo cook. Exactly he did, which is why, like, again, if LeBron is willing to do that like he says he is, then I'm all for DeJounte Murray. My problem is I don't believe LeBron is going to do that regularly. I need to see that a couple more times. Show me that, 5, 6, 7 more times. Here, okay, hang on a second. Time out. All right. I should have said this earlier, but I didn't think about it earlier because we have more people there. So, tinfoil hat on. You ready? Everyone, grab your tinfoil hats. Put your tinfoil hat on. So, Lakers and the Hawks are going to talk again about a DeJounte Murray trade, which means the Lakers are very likely to include Austin Reeves. If you are really that adamant about not trading Austin Reeves, why would you re-engage with the one team that wants Austin Reeves for all costs and will give whatever it takes to get Austin Reeves? Okay. The big question is, can LeBron James actually play off ball? Would LeBron be willing to play off ball? Why would you go and trade for DeJounte Murray if LeBron James is not going to play off ball and is not willing to play off ball? Tinfoil hat moment. Everyone ready? Strap in. Okay? Rob Pelinka always runs by LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and, Genie, obviously. But they always run by LeBron James and Anthony Davis and ask about everything. Right? So, if I am Rob Pelinka, wouldn't I ask LeBron James, hey, how do you feel about DeJounte Murray? Oh, yeah, I would love DeJounte Murray. Okay, great. We will go get DeJounte Murray, but you need to play off ball because we keep trying to go get point guards for you to play off ball, and you won't play off ball. And we're not going to go trade for DeJounte Murray and give up Austin Reeves and whatever else if you're just going to dominate the basketball. So I need to see you play off ball more and show me that you can play off ball. You gave me the green light to go do this trade. I need you to show me that you can fit with DeJounte Murray. I don't know. Again, tinfoil hat moment, little crazy, but right? It's a little odd. LeBron James hasn't played like this once this season. And there's all these reports the last 2 days or since the last game, basically since the last time LeBron played, because he didn't play in the previous game. So there's all these reports that the Lakers are going to push to go get DeJounte Murray. And there's a report today that the Lakers are going to re-engage and talk to Atlanta about getting a trade done for DeJounte Murray. And now LeBron James, just out of left field, decides, oh, I'm going to show you I can play off ball. I don't know. Again, tell me it's not strange. Tinfoil cap, I'm going to take it off. But I should get a real tinfoil hat. I should make a real tinfoil hat. And it's that way when I do my little tinfoil theories. But no, seriously. In all seriousness, though. Like, for real. Like, it's just odd, to say the least. LeBron James has not played this way all season, but now there's all this traction that the Lakers are going to go get DeJounte Murray, in which LeBron James would need to play off ball more. And now, out of left field, LeBron James plays off ball. I don't know. It's a little interesting. Call me crazy, but I don't know. Very interesting, to say the least. Very interesting. Andrew, coming out the $5 super chat. Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do. Some days I think it's obvious they're going to get LaVine. I don't know what will happen. Keep Rozier away, though. I actually don't mind. Like, as like a plan C, I wouldn't hate Rozier. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know what they're going to do anymore either. Because I agree with you. It's like, oh, today they're definitely getting Zach LaVine. But that's the problem. We have so many conflicting reports. It's like 3 guys release a report that says the Lakers are going to go get Zach LaVine. Then you get another 3 guys that are like, nope, the Lakers are going to go get DeJounte Murray. And you get like another 3 reports that are like, the Lakers don't want anything to do with Zach LaVine. Then you get another 3 reports that are like, the Lakers want everything to do with Zach LaVine. It's like, come on. Like, what is it? Either the Lakers want Zach LaVine or they don't. But like I always say, like, what does the consensus say? So the consensus right now is the Lakers are prioritizing Atlanta. That's clear. Which, again, does make sense. I am sure that they've already had we know for a fact that the Lakers have already talked to Chicago, right? That was reported, talked about, and Woj, I think, was the one that talked about it. Like, that they had the conversation, that they've already talked about it. They've already discussed. So they already know what the deal is with Chicago, right? So it does make sense that they would prioritize going and getting DeJounte Murray. And then it's like, well, okay, we want DeJounte Murray. What do you want? Zach LaVine. No, we don't want to trade you Zach LaVine. Try again. Well, if you give us, or not Zach LaVine, sorry, Austin Reeves. No, we're not trading Austin Reeves. Try again. And then it's like, well, if you give us Austin Reeves, we'll give you something else. It's like, oh, okay, well, what else would you give us? Oh, well, if you give us Austin Reeves, we'd be interested in throwing in maybe a Clint Capella, maybe a Bogdan Bogdanovic, right? Obviously, you'd have to give up more, but boom, now you got your starting point. And now I think this week they're going to try to figure it out. So my guess, it's just my guess, I could be wrong. Again, I'm just the guy, not anybody important. But my guess is this week the Lakers talk to the Hawks, and this week either a deal gets done or it doesn't. And I think they pivot back to Chicago. If we don't have a deal done by this time next week, which would be basically Monday next week, I think you start hearing Chicago trade rumors all over again, and the Lakers are potentially going to go get Zach LaVine. Because, again, I think you had the initial contact between the Lakers and the Hawks. The Hawks expressed what they wanted. The Lakers expressed what they wanted, right? Both sides said, nah. At some point, Atlanta said, we will give you more if you include Austin Reeves. And now the Lakers are going to go talk to Atlanta. You know what they want. So I think what this is them figuring out what is Atlanta willing to part with, what are the Lakers willing to part with, and what does an Austin Reeves trade look like. I think that this is it. I think this week they're going to have the conversation. The deal either gets done this week, and we got DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella, and whatever else, or an Atlanta trade doesn't get done, and the next week all of the Zach LaVine rumors happen all over again. Right? So that's my guess. And then again, like I said, I kind of lean towards what is that return? Like, if the Lakers just trade for DeJounte Murray, I could see them going and getting Zach LaVine. Like, if they're like, oh, okay, well, we couldn't get anything else, but we were able to trade just for DeJounte, I can see the Lakers going and pivoting. So I think either the Lakers get a deal done this week that basically takes them out of the Zach LaVine trade, or it doesn't happen, and the Zach LaVine rumors will be right back. That's my guess. Okay. Could be completely wrong. Just the guy. LaVine really scores at will. Very true. LaVine is out for Lakers. I wouldn't be so sure. Brian Windhorst made that report. And he said 0%. So, yeah, nothing's ever really 0%. Lakers want Atlanta Murray trade because of cap and future flexibility. Bulls probably I just want a LaVine trade only. That's kind of what it seems like. It seems like Chicago's willing to trade, basically just give you, like, here you go. You can just, here you go. Just take Zach LaVine. He's yours. But that seems like it's it. Like, they don't want to do anything else, which the Lakers need more than that. Martin, thanks so much. Yes, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow Martin's lead. Let's see. On was off bail, off ball. LeBron was off the ball a lot more today. D'Lo ran the point longer than usual, and it looked great. Ball movement in that second half, especially looked like preseason Lakers facts. Absolute facts. Which is why, again, like I said, my little tinfoil hat moment, telling you. Hey, what's going on, Daniel? How are you? Tyler, would you like a starting five of Murray, Prince, Grant, Braun, and Davis? Like Jeremy Grant? I wouldn't hate it. Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. That would be solid. But Grant's I just don't like Grant's making. Isn't he making like 30-something million? I don't think he's worth that money. But yeah, I mean, like if that was like a plan C, I'd love that. I'd be all for that. Lakers, baby. I'd rather trade for LaVine than Grant. Vincent, LaVine, Braun, AD, Drummond. Yeah, not too shabby. You'd have a bunch of flexibility with that stuff. D'Lo's defense, not just today, this season has been great. Proof to me again why we got to keep D'Lo over Reeves. Yep, they're both been good recently. D'Lo is better defensively, and especially a secondary point. Yep. That's why every time somebody's like, "What are you talking about? D'Lo is a terrible defender." I'm like, okay, so clearly you haven't watched games, and you're just basing it off of his career, rather than like what is actually happening this season. That contract is booty. Yeah, that's my problem. Is contract. Does anyone know why Mitchell is off the table? I thought Cavs was trying to trade him at some point this season. What happened to that? They were never like. There was reports that it may happen. There was never like nobody ever really, or at least no one credible, actually was like, "Oh, Donovan Mitchell will be available or is available." It is the Cleveland's not doing too good. And then you had Garland and Mobley go down, and it was like, okay, they're probably going to trade them. So he was never like available, right? Like they weren't fielding offers for him. It was just like there's a chance that he will. And then also, I think personally, and this is just me, I think Cleveland should trade Mitchell now. Because I think they will get a better return now than they would get next season. And the problem is they're not winning anything this year. They're probably not winning anything next year. And what's going to end up happening is Cleveland's going to get to the point where every team knows they have to trade Donovan Mitchell now. And if that's the case, now you just lost all your leverage. Now you have zero leverage. Now, they'll still get a good return for Donovan Mitchell, but they're not going to get as good of a return as they would right now. Because right now, you would have probably like 6 or 7 teams all bidding to go get Donovan Mitchell right now. Literally. And that would just drive up the price heavily. So I personally think that they should trade Donovan Mitchell this year. I don't think the Lakers realistically could get him. So I don't even think, like, it's not even so like, oh, they should trade Donovan Mitchell so the Lakers can get him, because I don't believe the Lakers are going to be able to get Donovan Mitchell if he became available now. In the offseason, maybe, because the Lakers would have 3 firsts at that point come draft day. But even then, still a little questionable. So my thing is like, I just think remove the Lakers out of it entirely. I think they should trade him this season because I just think they'll get the best return. Andrew, coming out the $5 chat. I agree. I think it'll be a 3-team with Chicago and Brook. I think I could see a D'Lo reunion with Brooklyn. They need a point guard playmaker badly, and Rui, Zach, Alex, Torian, Finney-Smith. Yeah. Hey, look, I would love something like that. No, get creative, right? And I'm sure Rob Pelinka right now is doing his due diligence. I'm sure he's, going through the ups and flows. I'm sure he's not only talking to Chicago and Atlanta. I'm sure he's touched base with the Nets. I'm sure he's touched base with other teams. I'm sure he's, hey, if I do this over here, would you want to get in on that? Is there anything specific you want over here? Right? he's going through his motions, right? So I could definitely see something like that. I really think a trade, like some type of trade happens within the next like week. I do. Um, Now whether that's Zach LaVine or Murray, excuse me, that I don't know. Again, I lean towards either a Hawks and Lakers trade gets done right now, like in the not right now, but like this week, like I mentioned, right? Because they're gonna meet again this week, and they're gonna go through everything, all their little possibilities. They've already talked about it once, so now this is where it's like, okay, here's what we're gonna offer. Here's what you're gonna offer. Blah blah blah. I mean, that doesn't mean that it can't happen later, but I just think the Lakers are gonna start like if Atlanta. If they don't get a deal done this week, I think the Lakers will start looking elsewhere for other things. And so I do think in the next like week, something will happen. Either it'll be the Atlanta trade or it'll be like a minor trade. Like they just go get like a Royce O'Neal, or they just, like kind of like last year, you got the Rui trade and then you got the big blockbuster trade. I could see something like that happening. I think like either we get the big trade now or we get the little like, Rui type trade where it's like, oh, we just got this guy. Oh, that's cool. Right. And maybe it's somebody like a Miles Bridges or something. Like it might not even be, like it could just be like a small, like, hey, we just basically swapped, Jalen Hood-Schifino and, Jackson Hayes for Miles Bridges. Right. Something like that. I could see something along those lines happening. So we'll see. Time will tell. But Caruso would help a boatload of star guards in the West. Fox, Luka, Murray, etc. Yeah, he would be fantastic. I bet your dreams are all about the Lakers, huh? No, actually, they're not. Luckily, you would think so though. Vando can't score. He's a modern day Rodman. We need a bona fide scorer. Period. I am right there with you. Right there with you. But unacceptable closing with Prince. D'Lo and a pick for Colin Sexton. I'd stay away from Colin Sexton. That he has the second or third all-time minus for team in like his first 5 years or whatever. So like he's one of those guys where he's either like incredible or he's like unplayable. Like you either hate him or you absolutely love him. Would wreak havoc on the opposing defensively. Yeah, that would be ridiculous. With Drummond, AD could play power forward, the position AD wants to play. Problem is I think that they would start Clint Capella because he's making $20 million. But Drummond being on a vet minimum, I don't think Darvin Ham would start Capella or start Drummond. Was getting hammered all night long. Facts. Vando is an underrated passer, man. He gives you dimes a game. Hope you see in Italy. Yeah, dude. Look, if Vando developed a shot, that guy would be like the best 3-and-D guy in the league. Like hands down. He's already elite defensively when he's on. And then you add in the fact that he can make plays. He can, he can bring the ball up. He's been more comfortable bringing the ball up, which you've seen it's starting to get hot. Like he's been a lot more comfortable bringing the ball up, which is good. And then, you add in, like, if he could just get a reliable 3-point shot, man, he'd be A1. He'd be A1 for sure. Like, without a doubt. Sorry, it was getting hot. I had to take the jacket off. I was out earlier, so. Where were we? They only gave that contract to entice Dame to stay. Yeah. The Lakers should do that Hawks trade. It makes more sense. Look, I'm all for it if they get it done. Again, it just depends on what it is. Depends on how it's broken down. I'd stay away from Murray, get Zach Drummond and Caruso if we can get them. I am right there with you. Give me those 3 guys. Let's make it happen. Question is can we get Caruso? Right? Like what is the deals? How does it, like, I understand from a flexibility standpoint, right? Like The Hawks trade gives you more flexibility. So I don't know. We'll see. I think we're gonna have our answer in the next week. Some days I think we're getting LaVine, and other days I'm not sure who they're targeting. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. That's the problem. And I try to filter it out as much as possible and talk about just the stuff, but it's so inconsistent. Drummond would help with rebounding. He's averaging 14 points and 17 rebounds as a starter this year, which is crazy. Let's see. I'm staying away from the Atlanta deal. All Lakers 100%. Wood had taken all of Hayes' minutes, which he should. He really should. That's excellent. Let's see. Don't take the bait. LaVine is coming. Facts. Tyler, what do you think of trying to get Brogdon from Portland? I think he'd be a great fourth option. After we trade for LaVine, the money would work. I'd love this. I would rather if you could probably get DeJounte Murray for the same price you could get Brogdon. The problem with Brogdon is Brogdon would be great. Brogdon would be nice, but that dude, people have concerns about Zach LaVine and his injuries. Brogdon might be the most injured. Every other week that dude's hurt, and he's had some big injuries. So that's my problem is that can he be healthy long enough to help with that? So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm assuming he said, I thought you said Reeves and D'Lo doesn't work today. Well, in the beginning of the season, it hasn't, right? Are we just all of a sudden one game and we're Lakers are the best team in the league? Let's slow down. Again, like I mentioned earlier, believe me, I would love to come on here and be like, we're back, baby. Lakers are it. Best team in the league. I would love to say that. But we have seen enough of the Lakers this season to know that this is an outlier rather than a consistency. So let's hold our horses before we're ready to grab the pitchforks and say, oh, Tyler's an idiot. I wouldn't pay Capella $20 million just to pick and roll, be a lob threat. He's better than Drummond, but Drummond's contract is way better. Bogdan is defense liability, and Murray isn't good off ball. Again, it just depends on what it is. If LeBron is willing to play this way that we saw tonight, then that would be massive, right? That would be huge. Because now I think you can get away with DeJounte Murray. I don't like Capella at $20 million. I'm not going to lie. But, again, it just depends on how does everything unfold, right? Let's see. D'Lo has been very inconsistent and received some well-deserved criticism, and he deserves some well-deserved praise for the last 2 games. Great team win. Keep the same energy, effort, and urgency. Facts. Look, I've criticized D'Lo a lot this year, believe me. But also I think a lot of it has been just him not knowing his role. I mean, he talked about it on, what was it, the Pat Bev podcast? He talked about how, dude, I don't even know, what my role is or how I'm supposed to play. All right, so a win is a win. Still need to improve. Facts. Absolutely. What's up, Tyler? Hi, Kerry. Don't let Darvin scam Tori and Jester fool you. The Viggs is in front of Darvin's face. Is Tori and start Vando yet? I am with you. They need to start Vando. Kobe would say go all in. I wouldn't make stars not want to come. It would be disrespectful for the franchise, AD and LeBron and Kobe, to be honest. Yeah. Like I said, Lakers, a lot of the moves that the Lakers make is because they know it looks good for the future. Which trade would you rather take? Murray, Capella, Bogdan, Bay. Can interchange between Hunter and Bogdan, or LaVine, Caruso, Drummond, and Craig. See, if I can, again, let's say it's the same price, I'd rather have LaVine, Caruso, Drummond, and Craig. Now, again, it comes down to what the deals are. But a starting 5 of LaVine, Caruso, Vando, LeBron, and AD is probably the best in the league. And then you'd still have Drummond, Craig, Prince, Vando, or Reddish. You'd have Mays. You'd still have Christian Wood. You'd still be incredibly deep, incredibly talented, incredibly everything. But again, it depends on what that is. However, if it's like I mentioned earlier, if it's Levine, Drummond, and like Torrey Craig, I kind of lean towards Murray, Capella, Bogdan, and Bay. Right? That's kind of where I'm at. Ham is obsessed with Taurean Prince for some reason. I mean, he's been arguably our most consistent player all season, but yeah, like again, I wouldn't mind that as like a plan C. Bogdanovic is a better 3-point shooter, and we need a valid starting five. Yeah. Don't be a prisoner in the moment. It's time to make some trades like yesterday. Facts. That's why, like I just said a minute ago to whoever it was that said, like, oh, I thought you said, like, let's relax. It's one game. You know, this has been more of an outlier than it has been the regular. And believe me, I would love to just be like, here we go. Let's get it. We're back, baby. We lose in his hot games regardless and barely win with him cold. Worst plus minus behind Reeves all season. Also started every game, bro, is Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley couldn't make a shot to save his life, though. This is the problem, man. Malik Beasley couldn't shoot at all. I'm not scared of them yet. They're too small. That's the problem. Seawood was great again today. He's super consistent in minutes. I love it. Yeah. Christian Wood, like I mentioned, don't ever take him out of the starting lineup again. Also, Hawks are wanting 2 first-round picks for Murray. Yeah, but every team wants insane prices, and then it changes, right? Just depends. That rookie center will get straight in the playoffs. Oop, what did I just do? Darn it. Oh, I just lost my place. Damn it. Hang on. Bear with me a second. I accidentally clicked something and now I don't know where I'm at. Come on. All right, here we go. I had faith in Blika last season. Turn water into wine. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I fully believe in Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka, he's gonna make the right. He's gonna make the best deal that's on the table. Jay, what's going on, Jay? Bench a little weak. Kept Dennis coming to his own. He's been struggling, bounced around a lot. Yeah. Dennis low key been solid. Yeah. If we can get Murray, Bogdanovic, and Capella, I would package Reeves, but only if Murray for Reeves. Hell no. Yeah, exactly. The package to me is nice. You think we're going to trade Kawhi and Paul George still? And they gave Kawhi his extension to LOL. No. I made an argument when they were terrible. And they tried to trade Paul George. You know, Paul George was a Knick if the Knicks didn't back out at the end. Like, that was heavily reported by, like, very credible people. They were like, the Knicks, the only reason that Paul George wasn't a Knick is because the Knicks thought it was too much. And they didn't think that they were worried about his injuries and stuff. Like, when I was talking about it, it wasn't a far-fetched idea, right? Again, things change, everything changes, but look, they still have to give extensions for everything, right? So let's wait until everything's done. But they were trying to trade Paul George this offseason. Literally, yeah, he's been terrible. Insane amount of casuals this channel has, man. I don't know how Tyler Conley and stuff. You get accustomed to it after a while. Believe me. What has Zach done come playoff time? Tell me. Trey has been there doing his thing. What you talk about Trae Young? I don't know what Trae Young has to do with anything. Secondly, Zach has always been basically the number one option, and he has good metrics in that regard, especially amongst defensive players. I mean, you could have made the same argument about Anthony Davis. What did Anthony Davis do in the playoffs before he became a Laker? Guess what? We won a championship with AD. Again, like, I see so many comments from people that are like, oh, Zach isn't a winner, or Zach isn't. Like, no, how many players are? right? Like if Joel Embiid, what has Joel Embiid done in the playoffs other than like constantly disappear? But if you get Joel Embiid right now, would you get him? I'm not saying that Zach LaVine is as good as Joel Embiid, but again, like where do we draw the line? Right? Zach LaVine would be our third option. Right? You just need him to be half decent. Just basically show up is what you need. We'll have support, though. Also, he actually would produce against big teams. Yeah. Exactly. He wouldn't be the number one option. In the words of Tyler Chisada. That was funny. Dude, I get so many of those comments, and I'm like, you were better off just saying, like, you have no idea. Like, I had a comment earlier that somebody was like, you're like, I'm an idiot or whatever, and then proceeded to tell me that Zach LaVine can't create his own shot, and Chicago only plays through their center. And I was like, oh my, like, what are you talking about? I was like, you're better off just coming here and just being like, I have no idea who Zach LaVine is. Like, it was no one in this chat. It was like a comment I got. And I was like, oh my God, this is a real comment. It's always the people that tell me I'm an idiot that leave the dumbest comment. It's always the person that's like, you're a casual, or you don't know what you're talking about, that always leave the dumbest comment. I'm like, you don't have to agree with me, but at least like, don't make yourself look stupid in front of everyone else. Like, I'd rather you just come to me and just be like, I have no idea if Zach LaVine's going to work. Like, I don't like this because I have no idea who Zach LaVine is. Right? I'd respect it. I'd be like, okay, cool. I get that. Like, here, let me explain to you why. But it's always somebody that's like, you don't like, you're such casual, you're an idiot, and then proceed to tell me Zach LaVine can't shoot, he can't create his own shot. It's like that's his entire career. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, sorry, Crystal Ball. Lakers get Murray, Bogdanovich, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Hawks get Siakam, Gary Trent, and Schroeder. Raptors get Rui Vincent, DeAndre Hunter. Lakers first, Hawks first. Jalen Hood-Schifino, Jackson Hayes next. Get D'Lo and a Lakers swap. The Nets would want Rui, so you'd have to get Rui to the Nets. But I'm gonna assume that all those salaries work because I don't feel like doing the math in my head right now. I'm just tired. I had a long day. So I'm gonna assume all those salaries work. Like if you could swap it to where the Nets got Rui because they need Rui more than anybody, I could see that working. I could see something along those lines. They have it. Motivation. Lonzo going down killed the team. They were cooking before. That is 100% facts. I have talked about that heavily. Like, go watch. Was it Chicago the 1 seed in the East for like 2 weeks before Lonzo went down? But I can give you more depth. Raptors are interested in DeAndre Hunter. I'm sure Zach will do whatever is asked of him. It's obvious. He wouldn't be. Look, Zach LaVine is not going to come here expecting to be the number one option. He would know what the deal is, without a doubt. Zach LaVine wants to come here too. All right. There's no way Zach LaVine's looking at LeBron James and Anthony Davis and going, "Yep, that's what we're going to do." Conjudge, thank you so much. I appreciate the $10 super chat. Coming to help $10 super chat. In the past 2 seasons, LaVine averaged 72 games. Davis 48. LaVine's injury concerns are overrated. Thank you. Thank you. I have stressed this so many times. Even Murray. Zach LaVine has played more games than DeJounte Murray the last 5 years. Now, I'm not counting this year because this year isn't over. Right? I said that to somebody and they were like, DeJounte Murray has played, 10 more games or whatever, something like that. But no, like if you count this year, or don't count this year, because again, who knows what's going to happen? Like DeJounte Murray can miss the rest of the season. So could LaVine. Who knows? You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But if you look at the last 5 years, which those were completed and those were over, Zach LaVine has played like 50 more games than DeJounte Murray. So, and yes, Zach LaVine has been very healthy the last few years. Are overrated. Together with LeBron, they could score 80 points per game. Yeah, I'd trade all but 80 LeBron for Caruso Drummond. Right there with it. Like, again, if you could get give me Zach LaVine, Caruso, and Andre Drummond. My concern is I don't know if the Chicago Bulls would be willing to give up Caruso. But if you can, like if you could include Austin Reeves and everything like that and get Caruso and Andre Drummond, it'd be really hard to say no. Give me, because literally your starting five of LaVine, Caruso, LeBron, Vanderbilt, and Anthony Davis would be so tough. You just have, like, all you need is Zach LaVine and Caruso to be the initiator. LeBron doesn't even have to play like point guard. You just need somebody to initiate, and then he can make all the plays out on the wing or from the post. And you just basically have one of those guys initiate the offense, with both are very capable of doing. And Alex Caruso is very familiar with doing that because he did that in the 2020 season. And then you have Jared Vanderbilt and Alex Caruso as your point of attack defenders. You got Alex Caruso shooting 40, what is he shooting, like 44% or something like that from three-point range. You got Zach LaVine, who's shooting 45% on catch and shoot threes. Plus, he can just go get a bucket whenever he wants. Then you got LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That'd be so tough. So tough. And then you'd still have depth, versatility. I do agree. I have preached to people that the injury history of Zach LaVine is just heavily overblown. Played 77 games last season. He played like 69 or something like that, 68 the previous year. The year before that, he played like literally the last 5 years, he's played around 65 games a year, which is basically the average. Go show me a superstar or a star or anybody that plays 80 games anymore, right? Like the only guy that I can think of, and he's not like a superstar in that, but like Mikal Bridges has played 82 games every year, his entire career or whatever, right? Like he has the record right now. But outside of him, nobody plays 80 games anymore. Giannis has had injury issues the last few years, right? Embiid is at where the era of guys not sitting out for little knick-knack injuries doesn't exist anymore. It just doesn't exist anymore. So I'm with you. I am right there with you. I'm so high on Zach because the narrative around him are flat out misinformation. I think people really don't get the ceiling. The three can reach 100 points per game combined or more. Yeah, you gotta look at LeBron James and Anthony Davis are averaging 50 a game right now, right? Zach LaVine comes in. You're gonna get probably at least 70 a game from those three, and that's not counting Zach LaVine up in his total, right? It just makes things easier. I wholeheartedly agree. I've been preaching Zach LaVine forever, and here's the thing. There's a big part of me that just wants Zach LaVine to get traded to Lakers just so 10 games into it, everybody that was talking shit about Zach LaVine coming to Lakers can all be like, oh, I love Zach LaVine. Because believe me, I'm keeping receipts, man. I can't wait. It has to happen. But I know it would be so funny just to everybody that's Zach LaVine sucks. We shouldn't trade for Zach LaVine. Just getting all the comments from people that are Zach LaVine's the best. And it's a week ago, didn't you say that the Lakers would be stupid for trading for Zach LaVine? Because I just think he'd be the perfect fit. I just think he would be, say LeBron's the engine, Davis is the vehicle. Zach LaVine would be the wheels that you need to complete the car. Right? He would be the guy that you put the wheels on and you're off to the races. Right? You got your engine in LeBron. You got your body and your frame in LeBron James or in Anthony Davis. You just need to throw the wheels on and you're racing down the track. That to me, Zach LaVine would be the wheels that would send you racing down the track. We'll see. Time will tell. I'm rooting for it. Believe me. All right, let's power. I'm gonna power through for about 10 more minutes. I'm gonna get on out of here because going almost 2 hours, which I appreciate. You guys are awesome. We also need a dog on this team and culture identity. We need a lot of things. Believe me, we genuinely do. The Lakers need a lot. The problem with Colin Sexton is, like I said, you either there's games where you watch him and you're like, this guy's the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball. And then the next game you watch him and you're like, this guy is the worst player to ever play the game of basketball. Like he's so like hot and cold. Like I think Lakers would trade for him and then everybody would be screaming like 2 weeks into it to get rid of him. Trade him again. Yeah, we didn't want Westbrook as fans. I feel like Rob went off of his name and brought an AD. That's why I hope whatever he does, I think about it through. Rob Pelinka didn't want Russell Westbrook. He had a deal done with Sacramento. Sacramento was furious. Sacramento had locked, signed, sealed, delivered, ready to go, Buddy Hield. And then DeMar DeRozan himself said in an interview with, I think it was Taylor Rooks, said he was going to the Lakers that year. And then LeBron James and Anthony Davis had that meeting at, who was it? I think it was Anthony Davis's house. The three of them got together at AD's house and said they do whatever it takes to make it work. Went to Jeanie, said, make it happen. Jeanie told Rob, and Rob voided the Buddy Hield trade. That was the end of DeMar DeRozan, and they went and traded everything to go get Russell Westbrook. Rob Pelinka had other plans. He was ready to go with other things. But the problem is he's the GM, and so he's the guy that gets the blame. But that wasn't Rob Pelinka's doing. And then if you remember, before the meeting, before they went to AD's house to talk about it, remember LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis were hanging out courtside, or I think it was just LeBron and Westbrook were hanging out courtside and were like BFFs. And then there was that one meeting where AD was there and everyone was like, are they really going to team up? Like, no, they wouldn't do that. But and then boom, you get the report that they all were hanging out at AD's house and had a conversation about teaming up. And then like 2 days later, he's a Laker. It's crazy. It's crazy how it works, but it's what happened. Andrew, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Ow. Sorry. My back is stiff. Oh, that analogy was perfect. That's it. Add in Caruso and Drummond, and it's ready to go. These people need to understand that big three is next level. And I mean, look, I just think I think they complement each other seamlessly. I really do. I mean, because he gives you that efficient, elite, go-to scorer that can just go get buckets. And you need that. I mean, how many times do the Lakers just go like 5 minutes without just scoring even a single bucket? Like they have so many 5-minute droughts and it's like infuriating. And it's like, come on, man. Like if you have Zach LaVine, like obviously there's still going to be droughts on occasion, but they'll be few and far between. Like they really will. Because you'll be like, the problem is the Lakers just don't have anybody that you can just give the ball to and he can just go get a bucket. Right? Like Austin Reeves and D'Lo, I love them, but they got to work so hard. Even D'Lo, I've been a huge D'Lo defender, but he has to work so hard to go get his buckets at times, right? LeBron James, he's not a guy that can just score. Like he can when his shot's falling, but still, he's more of like a put my head down and get to the basket and just go get a bucket, right? Type thing. And then AD needs setup. It would be so nice to just have a guy that could just let me go get this bucket right quick. It would just be a beautiful thing. Absolutely beautiful. But coming out $10 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. People are stuck on Westbrook trade, but LaVine is a whole different animal. Imagine having Zach and Caruso averaging 35 points per game while shooting 45% on catch and shoot threes. Do you smell championship? I do. Do you smell what the foods is cooking? No, I have been preaching Zach LaVine and the Caruso and all that stuff. And believe me, I've dealt with the backlash of that. People, it makes so much sense. People do get caught up on the Zach LaVine thing or the Russell Westbrook thing, but there's several things that people just either aren't privy to or just like completely ignore. One, the Lakers are in a completely different situation. Problem was the Lakers, they had to trade basically all of their depth to go get Russell Westbrook. And the problem was they had to get rid of all their depth, but also Russell Westbrook just didn't fit and didn't make sense, right? In this case, the Lakers have enough sizable salaries. That was the problem. The Lakers didn't have a bunch of sizable salaries. They basically had to trade everybody, right? And you could only get Russell Westbrook. The Lakers could trade everybody and still get other pieces. But the Lakers basically got stuck with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, and that was it. And then it was just a bunch of vet minimum guys. The Lakers would have Zach LaVine, and let's say they just trade for Zach LaVine. You'd have Zach LaVine, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. You'd still have Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish. You'd still have Max Christie. You'd still have Christian Wood. Still have Jackson Hayes. You'd still be fine. You'd still have Austin Reeves. So you'd still have 9 guys. So that's more than what you had post Russell Westbrook trade. On top of that, whatever else you can get in the that trade, or if you trade Reeves, you could go get other things. But you would still have flexibility. You'd still be able to get vet minimum deals. The Lakers now at this point also have had a history of getting those value guys, right? Like a Porter Jr. maybe is like, hey, I've cleared up all my court stuff. I need to rebuild my reputation. Let me go to the Lakers next season. Boom. Now they got somebody like that. But even then, like on top of that, you'd still have tradable value, right? The Lakers would have more draft picks, assuming the Pelicans take this year's pick, right? You'd have up to like 3 picks this year or in this offseason trade. Jared Vanderbilt would become available. You'd have Austin Reeves if you still had Austin Reeves. So you could still make other trades if you needed to. Like the Lakers it would be a completely different situation than Russell Westbrook. Completely different situation. And another thing is people are like, I don't want to disrupt chemistry and I don't want to trade our depth. What chemistry and what depth? The Lakers are 1 game under 500 and out of the play-in. What chemistry? What depth? If we were the 3rd seed, I'd be like, yeah, keep it. Why are you going to mess things up? Lakers are cooking. Lakers are flowing. What chemistry and depth? The Lakers have been terrible this season. We have the same record we did last season, and we traded the entire farm and we made the conference finals. So I'm with you. Believe me. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But, all right, let's keep going. Like I said, 10 more minutes. I'm at 151, so we'll power through a couple more questions. Then I'm going to get out of here because I also got to set up for tomorrow. And I got to keep waking up super early because I'm paranoid that I'm gonna sleep till 10 a.m. or something like that. And because I'm up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning every night, just making videos, editing things, getting everything done. Because I like to preset everything. So that way it's easy. And then if news comes out, I can just it keeps me ahead of everything. But I'm still up till 3, 4 in the morning. And then I'm waking up at 7 because I'm what if there's a Laker trade? If a Laker trade happens, it's probably going to happen at 9 a.m. is usually when things get done. And I'm so if I wake up early and I'm all paranoid about it. And watch, nothing's going to happen to the trade deadline. And between now and the trade deadline, I'm going to sleep 2 hours a day. It's terrible. Terrible. But it's all right. The things I do to bring you guys quality content. I don't know about quality, but it's content. All right, it's content. We're here. I don't want championships. Don't the Lakers want championships? Sorry, I read that completely wrong. Don't the Lakers want championships? Why still in the Murray trade? Just get LaVine as long as you still have LeBron. Again, I understand why they want DeJounte Murray because, if you look at it, again, if LeBron's more willing. All right, here, let's break this down entirely. And then I'll probably skip on that. If I get more super chats, then I'll answer those super chats. But I'll probably break this down for everybody because I've gotten this a lot tonight. Okay, so why the Atlanta trade? Everyone already knows I am Team LaVine. So let's make the argument for the other side now, right? So, a couple things. One, if LeBron plays like he did tonight, the Murray trade makes a lot of sense. Because Murray is... Again, go look at his advanced metrics when he's allowed to actually play point guard. He was an all-star and all-defensive guy because he was the point guard, right? Not playing off ball and all stuff. So if LeBron is willing to play off ball like he did tonight, DeJounte Murray does make a lot of sense. The hope and idea is he continues to shoot 40%, and then you'd have him surrounded with Anthony Davis, best defensive player in the league, Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, 2 guys that can help him on the point of attack, which would take a huge load off of him rather than like it's him, Trae Young, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Hunter, right? Like a bunch of guys that like can't defend. And it's like he's the only defensive guy, wears him down. And then he's got to focus on everything else. He's got to play off ball more, so it's not really as fit, right? It's just so I can understand the problem. So the idea is we get DeJounte Murray. LeBron James plays off ball like he wants, which he could probably average 40 off ball if you really want to do. DeJounte Murray gets back to being in the position that he's best at, which is point guard. With that, he should be better defensively. He should be better with everything. If he can continue to shoot 40% from three, now you have a third all-star and a guy that is worth more than his contract, right? Okay. Also, he would be much more tradable than Zach LaVine would be if Zach LaVine doesn't work out, right? Like, let's say DeJounte Murray doesn't work out. There are teams that would take DeJounte Murray. So tradability, right? Then you add in all the other things, right? So if you could get Clint Capella, you could get, let's say, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and you get Saddiq Bey. It's like, okay, well, now instead of swapping 4 for 3 or something like that, or 4 for 2, you're swapping like 4 for 4 or 5 for 4, right? So the offset as far as like, you know, rotation, roster, all that stuff is still there. Depth, all that thing. Plus, everybody else would be on a very tradable contract. Like, you could still trade Clint Capella. You could still trade Bogdanovic. You could still trade other things. So if you needed to in a pinch, like let's say LeBron leaves, right? DeJounte Murray makes more sense long-term because then you'd have Murray and you'd have Anthony Davis, and then you're just kind of filling in around them. Right. And then if you have Clint Capella, well, now you got Murray, you got Capella, you got LeBron. Right. So, like, the way that the Lakers are looking at it is like, if LaVine doesn't work, we're screwed. We're stuck. If DeJounte Murray doesn't work, he's still tradable, and we could probably recoup what we gave up. And maybe then some. Right. If they both work, they'll both probably have an impact. Right. If either of them work, then they'll both probably have an impact. But we could also get more with DeJounte Murray, and those pieces would have more value, and we could do other deals and other trades and stuff like that. Where Alex Caruso, without a doubt, would be able to have his trade value. Like, teams would line up to trade for Alex Caruso. But again, one, would Chicago be willing to trade Alex Caruso? And two, Alex Caruso's still only making like $10 million. So you're not going to be able to trade him for like a ton of stuff. Where like you could probably get 2 players for Clint Capella. You could probably get 2 players for whatever. If you wanted to start a rebuild at some point, you could probably get a couple young pieces for them or some project guys or whatever. So it's I understand why the Lakers prefer the Atlanta trade over the Chicago trade, but I just think Zach LaVine would just be the better natural guy. So anyway, wanted to kind of cover all that stuff. And then now we'll answer these last few super chats, and then I'm gonna skate on out of here. Andrew, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. What chemistry? These dudes are in and out of the lineup. No, and only Kim is Braun and AD, and Reeves a bit. Trade everyone without hesitation. Exactly, which is my point exactly. Like, that's my problem. Like, you're like, so many people are like, oh, what about the depth? What about the chemistry? Like, depth is great when it works. The depth isn't working. Like, we're not winning basketball games. If we were the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed or something like that, or we were just cooking, like, then maybe I'd feel a little different. Maybe I'd be like, no, you know what? Like, keep what you got, ride it out, see what happens. Get LeBron James and Anthony Davis in the playoffs with this team. Like, if this team was performing the way that we thought they would in the offseason, no, forget everything. Leave it. Let's go. Problem is, they're not. We've been terrible. We're awful. Right? We're not even a play-in team. That's how bad we are. So it's like, what chemistry? What depth? What anything? Forget that. Give me the talent. Look at all the top teams in the league right now. They don't have a bunch of depth. Like OKC, you can argue, has some depth, but even they're like 6, 7 guys deep. right? They have a lot of young guys, but they're inconsistent. They really only have like 4 guys really that are like game in and game out. Like even Dort has his good games, his bad games, right? But like you look at the Celtics, they're like 6 deep, right? Like solid 6 deep. They have other guys that like on any given night can contribute, but for the most part, they're like 6 deep. Denver is they were thin last year and they're thinner this year, right? Clippers, they have like 7 guys, right? 8 guys. Like all the top teams have like 7 or 8 guys. And then they have guys on any given night can maybe do something, right? Like the Lakers have 12 guys on paper and only 4 show up. So who cares? So I'm with you. Believe me. And then coming in hot with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. They should hire you on ESPN as a sports analyst. I would love that. Believe me. Let's petition and make that happen. No, I actually like that I'm able to do the YouTube thing because I'm not like restricted. You know what I mean? Like I get to basically give my honest opinion. I don't have like some company or anybody telling me what I can and cannot do or what I can and cannot say or, hey, you should watch this. So I like the position I'm in. I wouldn't mind like doing like a guest spot. That'd be pretty cool, right? Like if they just like, once a week or once a month were willing to like bring me on and just let me like debate these guys, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. I'd love something like that. But I appreciate you. You are awesome. Thank you. All right. It's funny because Andrew, first off, thank you so much. It's funny because I legit don't think majority of NBA analysts or fans realize Zach LaVine is one of the best catch and shoot 3-point shooters in the NBA. He really is. That's something that I haven't really heard. I don't think I've heard anybody else mention that, like outside of this channel, right? Like, and it's surprising. Like, it's one of the things I've mentioned this before. One of the things that I haven't heard anybody talk about. And look, I'm not saying that people haven't. I just haven't heard it. Maybe somebody else has. But one of the things that I haven't heard anybody talk about with DeJounte Murray and the DeJounte Murray argument is him having to play off the ball with LeBron James. I haven't heard anybody mention like, hey, DeJounte Murray's biggest problem is playing off ball. If he plays alongside LeBron James, he's going to have to play off ball a lot. A lot of people are just going under the assumption that LeBron James is just going to play off ball and let DeJounte Murray run the show. He hasn't done that for anybody. I mean, even Kyrie, right? Like I had somebody say like, oh, well, he's allowed Kyrie to do his thing and all that stuff. Kyrie went from a 32% usage rate to 26 when LeBron got there. And the only year that Kyrie went back up to 30% in usage rate was the year that there was the frustrations and he wanted to leave. It was the last year he was in Boston. And he still ended up leaving. Outside of that, LeBron James dominated the basketball. So, again, this idea of like when he was with Miami and Dwayne Wade, he had the highest usage rate, right? So, he didn't do it for Wade. He didn't do it for Kyrie. He didn't do it for Russell Westbrook. He didn't do it for Dennis Schroeder or D'Angelo Russell or anybody. And you're going to tell me now he's going to do it for DeJounte Murray? I mean, he did it tonight, so maybe. But, again, that's just something I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about, which I think is interesting. And then Andrew coming out the $5 super chat. I believe this is the last super chat. So I'm going to answer this last super chat and then skate on out of here unless I get another one. Tyler, look up the saying, burn the boots. Sometimes you have to go all in and no safety net. It forces them to lock in knowing this is now or never. Look, I picking up what you're putting down 100%. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to just, here you go. This is what you're doing, right? Sometimes you have to put them in a position to work it out, right? These guys are professionals, right? These guys are professional athletes, professional basketball players that make a lot of money to play the game of basketball. Again, give me the talent. This is my thing. Talent trumps everything, right? Most of the teams that won, like every year, the team that wins is usually the team that has the most talent. The only year that you could argue is like the Detroit year. Outside of that, it's usually the team that has the best player with the best talent, the best depth, or not depth, but like, rotation guys outside of him. All right. Like Look at all the teams that have won over the years. They're all like insanely stacked. Like Jordan's Bulls, Magic's Lakers, Bird's Celtics, Kobe's Lakers again, Celtics Big Three, San Antonio, right? Miami, Cleveland, the Warriors. Like the last 30, 40 years, it's been the best team with the most talent. Wins every year. And people are like, nah, forget getting the most talent. Let's just get the depth. Like most teams only have, a handful of guys. But yeah, I appreciate you. And then Andrew, coming out, $5 super chat. And then I'm going to skid on out here. I read your comments. These dudes constantly say LaVine isn't a good shooter. It's actually absurd. I don't get it. It's absurd. Dude, I get so many comments from people that are like, oh, Zach LaVine can't shoot, or he's not the guy you think he is, or whatever. Like I said, I got a comment earlier that was like, do you only watch highlights? Have you ever watched something along those lines? Like, do you ever watch highlights? Or do you only watch highlights of Zach LaVine? Do you know who Zach LaVine is? Right? And they're like, Zach LaVine can't create his own shot. He's not a good shooter or something like that. Chicago runs their offense through their center, and like, okay, sure. Right. The guy that says I don't watch Zach LaVine games just described the opposite of what Zach LaVine is as a player. Like he's built his entire career as a shot maker and shot creator. Is he like Chris Paul, point guard? No, because he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. But like I said, you just get kind of used to it. Get kind of used to the people just talking. I just let them talk. I still respond to them and try to be nice. As long as people are like polite to me. Like it's always like people that are like that call me an idiot or something, and then like I'll clap back, and then they get upset and they're like, "Why are you talking to me?" Like, well, if you just said, "Hey, I disagree with you." I mean, Andrew, earlier you were like, "Hey, I disagree with you." I love when people disagree with me. I have conversations regularly with people that disagree with me, and they're friendly, they're great, they're fine. But like, if somebody calls me an idiot or something like that, I'm not going to all of a sudden be like, "Oh, okay, well, he thinks I'm an idiot, so let me respond to this guy politely." Nah, F you. I don't care. Like, but man, I get so many just like, "Oh my God," comments. And I try to like respond to as many as I can. I try to like get to as many. It's hard, because I'm posting between the 3 channels. I'm posting, like 6 videos a day. And all those get like, I get probably like 1,000 comments a day, from the videos that I post plus, the past videos, because you still get comments from previous videos. So it's just like, it's so hard to like keep up, but I at least try to like read some and go through some and like, see some stuff. And like, man, I see so many comments where I'm just like, this is a real person. Like you're better off not like, I appreciate the engagement. I'm very thankful for the engagement. Very thankful. It helps so much. Like when people leave comments and like and all that stuff, I know people get sick of creators saying that stuff, but it really is. It's our currency. So, man, I'm like, thanks for the engagement, but this is just illogical, right? Like, oh man, I get so many comments, and it's so hard for me to just like not say anything. I'm like, all right, come on, Tyler, move on to the next one, because I'm just like, oh, I just want to tell this guy he's stupid. But anyway, plus I enjoy it. Like I do it. Like I like to like debate and like have conversation, and I like to like talk shit. And that's just like who I am. Like I love to just like, I mean, I was an athlete. I played sports, right? Nothing's better than like some good trash talk, right? 2 people just going back and forth. Like I love it. But anyway, I appreciate you all hanging out with me. I'm gonna skate on out of here. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Everyone that hung out with me, everyone that liked the video, subscribe the video. If you haven't yet, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you haven't liked the video, do that real quick. Everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. Seriously, you guys are awesome. It really does. It helps me out so much. Said trying to do this for a living. So this is very helpful. But you guys are beautiful. I appreciate y'all. And hopefully it keeps winning. Hopefully we keep getting it done. Hopefully keep rattling off some W's here, because we definitely need them. We got what? Wednesday, right? Wednesday we play the Mavs. Ooh, we need that win too. Got to beat Dallas. So hopefully we get that W. I will see you guys all then. If we get some like major trade or something like that, I'll probably do a live. I'll make the video, probably let the video marinate a little bit, and then I'll do a live stream. But hopefully we get a trade soon. And yeah. But anyway, again, appreciate you guys. You guys are beautiful. See you all.